working with pharmacovigilance for 22 years now, and it's always been my biggest passion to work with the PV. And I'm working as head of QPPV office in PV intelligence at CSL now, and the role of the QPPV office and keeping the oversight of pharmacovigilance process, the system. It's really a pleasure to work in this kind of area.
So just starting with a personal question. So how was the transition? You were a PhD, you are a researcher, and why pharmacovigilance? How it all started?
I really like what I'm doing, and I think working in the research in Sweden, I'm coming from Sweden, the environment is very much like protecting your research and what you're doing, and coming to the industry, it's the other way around. It's sharing with people. We have the same goal. We want to achieve something together. We want to help patients. So I really like this environment where I've been for the last 22 years.
Amazing. So tell me one real world example which made you realize that pharmacovigilance is a great career choice, and what made you stick to it for 22 years? Because many people jump, right? Sometimes I also feel, why pharmacovigilance? Why not clinical trials? Why not preclinical research? But what made you stick to pharmacovigilance? What's that secret sauce?
Yeah, I really like what I'm doing. And of course, it's everything about the safety and patient, make sure what you're bringing to the world is protecting public. But also the job itself, for me, it's like perfect combination of routine and creativity. The legislation is so incredibly challenging, and how to interpret, how to implement, and putting all the processes in place. It's really finding the best way, finding the best solution. Yeah, there are a lot of challenges, and what is the best way? So it's keep your creativity up.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'm sure you have seen the evolution of PV for the past 2 decades. So how do you feel AI is rewriting the narrative now at this stage?
I'm so happy that we have AI. I'm a
Okay,
big enthusiast of artificial intelligence and how we can use it, because it's really shifting our roles from doing the routine work, coming to more strategic thinking, how we want to implement. It's different kind of job, so it's shifting really for more strategical, and I like it.
fantastic. So can you give us one or two real world examples in your experience how AI has outperformed your traditional methods in PV? Of course, nobody can change the traditional methods. It remains the same. AI can only enhance the efficiency of that. So can you throw some real world examples for the viewers?
Yeah, so the example I can provide, it's maybe coming from the other company. I don't want to provide example from company
No
I've been
problem.
working.
Yeah.
Yes, but looking for the different conference, what vendor presented, what different representative from company showing the efficiency. I think it's amazing what we can do, what is already available. And simple example with the literature monitoring. I think a lot of company who is doing it, literature monitoring. I really like another example is Novo Nordisk presented in multiple conference that their software NovoScribe, and how you can reduce the time spent for the clinical study report or other report as well for the PSUR or DSUR, and saving time from weeks to few minutes.
Oh, a few
So
minutes.
there are many good examples. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. When you said about literature, yeah, in the recent past, there are a few good companies, good tools who have a very good literature tool. For example, one I can name from UK is Biologic, right?
Yes.
So they have a very, I think she's a good friend. Nicole is a good friend of you. So the tool is very good. At the same time, there are other tools from India also. For example, there's one tool from Cognif AI. So they also have a lot of automations in literature surveillance. But what about the accuracy? So have you felt anywhere while using those tools that the accuracy can be improved more, or what's the current state of the accuracy of these tools in your experience?
Yeah, I cannot speak from my experience because we are not using those tools in my experience, and also maybe some vendors promising a lot, but in the
Yeah,
end, when
yeah,
you
yeah.
start the journey with them, you realize it's maybe not about AI. Sometimes it's regarding automation, and automation is also great. Maybe it's important to keep in mind AI and automation.
Automation is different. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I couldn't answer your question from the practical point of view because I'm not using it today. It's more like
Uh,
starting to dream
oh,
in and rediscovering and see what could be done. I could see like other department is implementing it and using a lot.
so if I can ask you from your experience, you would have gone through many tools in the industry. There are many
Yeah.
legacy tools which has completely changed the experience what 22 years back you had, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
when I started PV, I didn't have much exposure to these tools. It was a little bit
Hmm.
of manual work that we were doing, and slowly when I started working towards in PV, I saw a lot of changes, a lot of automations, not AI automations came into place. The efficiency improved. So where do you see the market today with respect to the software industry connected with PV? What's your take on that?
Yes, and I think there are really like blooming, exploring, exploding all the opportunities that we have there on the market, what is available for every processes. Uh, if I compare for the Drug Safety Congress in Amsterdam, a lot of vendors presenting
Yeah,
what is available, what's already done, what's in the pipeline, what's in development. I would say it's in every single process for pharmacovigilance. I start my journey with AI in May 23, I think, and then I start to think, okay, how we can use AI in pharmacovigilance, and at that time for me it was ChatGPT. So I wrote a
okay.
book in December 23, how we can use ChatGPT for pharmacovigilance. So again, more from theoretical point of view or from
Yeah,
the future, and I could see really the more I started to think about it, you can really use in every single process, because for me AI it's a lot of about writing, how you make your report, analyzing data, and that's what we do, a lot of writing, a lot of
yeah, yeah,
analysis,
yeah.
representation of data, and
Correct.
yes.
So, can you give me one example where in every day of your life you use ChatGPT in PV? Small example.
Yes, I use it all the time since
Okay,
started.
that's very interesting to know. Yeah,
Yeah, about 3 years ago, I use it every day. Of course, for the corporate environment, we have to use the tools that's approved by the company, and we use Copilot
correct.
in our case, but we're allowed to use, according to the policy, other tools if you're not sharing the company data. And for me personally, what I really like, beside the writing and all the grammar and not being native speaker in English, to
Yeah,
improve
yeah,
the grammar of what I'm writing, it's really great. But also being able to find the solution for IT related issue. If
yeah.
I have problem with different, I just ask ChatGPT, this is a print screen, where do I need to go? Click here. Oh, thank you. And then I click and put another print screen. I click it. What do I do next? Oh, it's really great. Please go to the right corner and click here. And step by step, I'm doing really amazing things that I wouldn't never expect that I would be able to do.
Fantastic. This is what I want the viewers to listen. Chat GPT or any AI or any open AI source, you don't need to use it in your process because that might not be applied by your supported by your company. It should be a
Exactly.
validated tool, but you
Yeah,
can make use of the tools in another way where it will be helpful for your process, right? Suddenly you are using something in your Excel, you want to do some works, you don't know what to do. Immediately you ask Chat GPT. This can bring a lot of difference to people who work in PV. Please, this is a very valid point that you have told. I like to stress this point again. Thanks for that. So, what do you see as the biggest hurdle with this AI evolving and booming in PV? How the regulations are going to take it? What's the challenge? Major challenge?
yeah. I wouldn't say it's the regulation. For me, the biggest changes is, again, if we want to use in the corporate environment and when we're dependent on the policy, and of course, from the company perspective, maybe the rollout for the whole company is not always the decided in the higher level, but in the same time, we need to ask our question, what's the cost of not rolling out for the whole
Correct.
company? And there are many studies like looking, if you just give the license to limited number of people, you wouldn't see the effect compared if you roll out to everyone. And the second part of your question was regarding the legislation. And in my experience, um, regulators are very supportive. I've been in
Very
many
supportive.
with the European Medical Agency, with the FDA, looking for the expert. Again, I'm located in Sweden, and we have the AI office in the Swedish Medical Product Agency driving the solution. They did present in the EMA workshop the solutions they have in place or what they're discovering. EMA has AI office and really like promoting the implementation of artificial intelligence. If you look in sometimes for the inspection report, and I seen somewhere was a section how to use AI for literature monitoring and what need to be asked or how to address it during the inspections. So MHRA also been one of the leaders in this
Great.
area and really doing a great job promoting um, the use of AI. They're using themselves. So in my experience, they've been very supportive. And also like FDA, one of the presentation I've been listening, they say we need to use more within the pharmacovigilance. Please use it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, of course, regulators are very supportive, and the companies are also trying to present their validated tools to the regulators, saying we can do this. All these are happening thick and fast. Is there a gap between the AI advancement and the way the regulators are keeping up to the challenge? Do you find any gap? Not, no, I'm not talking about the FDAs or the EMAs. These are all established regulatory bodies which have been functioning for the past 30, 35 years. But what about the developing countries where the challenge of reporting itself is a big challenge? If you take an example of US, America, or Europe, the number of adverse events that is reported is around 30-35%. But if you take India, for example, or any developing nation, it's just 1 or 2%. So, how this AI is going to help these regulatory bodies to come up fast with some policies or solutions? Do you have anything in your mind which you can share? Because I feel everybody talks about developed nations. Nobody is talking about developing countries, right? Should also look into that.
Yes, and in my point of view, there is an importance of harmonize the legislation across different regions. And again,
Yeah,
sorry, speaking about Sweden all the time, we have the Uppsala
yeah,
Monitoring Center, we have the VG-based database, and what I could see, the smaller health authorities, they cannot afford the technology and
yeah,
solution.
yeah,
They can use the VG-base, they can use the tools provided by Uppsala Monitoring Center. So working together, it's of course
yeah,
very important. And solution probably will not be for everyone from one point of view. Let's say even for the marketing authorization holder, you have a large company, they can invest a lot in the AI and you can use there are small MIH with one product on the market, or I have seen one person MIH. Yeah. So probably not everyone would invest a lot in the AI solution, but the advantage or the beauty of it, the solution is there available. You can use the ChatGPT or Copilot for $20, $30 or euro per month. It's not very expensive solution that you can use, and it's very helpful in every single process. And we don't need to speak about large investment like everyone thinking about AI. It's huge investment, working with vendors, it's just money, and you don't know if it would be the outcome. So for me, what I'm promoting, what I'm used to speak and trying to bring this message, it's there, it's available for everyone for $20, $30 euro. You can get this tool. It's available. Use it, learn it, and use it. Implement.
Excellent. Excellent. I am able to see there is somebody who is supporting this cause, same like me, how I am promoting it. Yeah. So like-minded people are on the same platform. Thanks for it. Yeah. So maybe one policy which you can change at this moment, because you are in the decision making level. You know policies better than others because you are a QPPV. In fact, better than us for sure, because we sit somewhere. You sit in the right place where policies are made. So any policy you think that can change the evolution of AI in a faster way in PV? That's something that strikes you at this moment with respect to regulations?
Yeah, if we speak about regulations, so maybe I can mention that in Europe we have the AI Office and AI Act, and now we're like discussing how to interpret or how to have this code of practice of the AI Act, and I'm part of this group at EMA. Looking for implementation. We have different work stream. I'm part of the transparency work stream for the AI Office.
Okay.
Many meetings, discussion, how to ensure that it's transparent, what kind of system, what use the system. There is also work stream for the copyright and for other risk management. So there are a lot of initiatives in the European regions where I am located. How to implement effectively. And also in the AI Act, there is a definition, the all system, you can have low risk, medium risk, high risk, and prohibited system. And I'm quite happy to see that some systems are prohibited. So we are regulating in Europe what possible to use and where we shouldn't do it and where we shouldn't develop. Also, like for the high risk system, which probably by automatically all healthcare system would be the high risk system. So for those, you need a human oversight. So that's one of the mandatory requirements, to have the human oversight. And coming back to your question, the regulation and the development very fast. And what I could hear during discussion with health authority, they say, when we put the regulation in place 2-3 years ago or whatever was, we put it flexible because we want to leave some area for the changes. And they're saying, like, we're very thankful now that we leave this area for the interpretation, we leave this area for flexibility. So somehow I think it's in mind in the regulator that we need this flexibility because it's developed extremely fast, and we need to have it.
Yeah. So, do you think AI will replace human case processors?
Again, it's a question of investment. For some company, yes. For other company, no. And not completely, because you still need the human oversight. Like I mentioned, it's
no. My question would be, my follow-up question would be, yeah, of course, it's quite challenging for small companies to invest. Big companies have a lot of R&D work that goes into AI. They invest. What about the business market where the PV is outsourced to a lot of vendors across the globe. So
Mhm.
can this automation change that business market? That's my area of interest. I want to change that business market. I want to understand that business market. See, supposedly, let's take a Pfizer or a Nova Nordisk or a Novartis. They vendor out a lot of PV services outside, and they shell out a lot of money. This money is not a profit for the pharma company. It's they're selling it out, right? So if they invest one time, they do a good AI, they do automate. Can it replace human case processors from the vendor side? That's a big challenge.
Yeah, there is no one size fit all. We have different
Yeah,
MIH, and during my career, I had the time when I was working in the CRO, and you can really see during this my work in the CRO and MIH. There are different type of MIH. There are MIH that has one case every fifth year. They don't need the
yeah,
automation. They don't need
correct,
the
correct.
investment in the case processing. There are some other like company in the development phase. They have the clinical trial and they just started. They just send the application to register the product. They just enter in the post-marketing environment. There are companies that by design, like there are very few adverse events. So we have this all variety from large company to this medium-sized company for really tiny micro MIH. So it would be always area for different kind of services, different kind of the solution, different kind of needs. Also, if we're looking like the strategy within the company, it's different. It's changing over the time. Sometimes it's centralization, sometimes it's decentralization. It's focusing on the different area. Um, yeah, there is no one size that fit all. There will be
Um,
always
yeah.
something for everyone.
One thing that always keeps striking my mind is, let's assume there is an established product in the market where you have been continuously monitoring the safety for almost a decade now. There are many examples which we can cite. So there are a lot of cases being reported. Let's assume a non-serious case. Let's say a single drug, they report 1,000, 2,000, 1K cases every month. So can this be
Mhm.
bypassed and directly submitted to the regulators? If there is an established labeling, if there is no new side effects, it's all done for the sake of just keeping the product safe, ensuring that the drug is safe. Can here AI come and replace the human processor, saying that we don't need you at this moment? The cases can directly be submitted to the regulators. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so my take still the same as I mentioned before. It's a high risk system. High risk system. There is a mandatory human oversight. The human on the loop always would be there. Our role would change, and how much we're involved would change. And like if I look for journalists, for example, and when you talk to them and they say our role has changed, now we are the editors. If before we're doing everything, all the draft by ourselves, now we get all the first draft with AI, and they get an 80% of the job, and 20% of the job still need to be done by the human. We are the editors now. So if I draw the parallel, I think we're moving towards something similar. The routine work could be done by AI, but we still need human in the loop. By the legislation, we're obliged to have human in the loop. It cannot replace totally.
But the reason why I asked this question is, in my experience of 15 years in PV, in the service side of PV, I'm not talking about the technology side.
Mhm.
PV is more of a clerical work, I feel sometimes, with respect to ICSRs. See, there's a medic who works in ICSR, and all he does is monotonous work of just cut, copy, pasting the Mac commands and sending it to the regulators. There is no innovation in that. Why waste a medical doctor's mind for just a clerical work? That's something. I'm not telling it's a wrong thing, but it keeps striking my mind. What am I doing here? I'm just typing so and so, blah 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 blah, causality assessment, possible cause, and submit it. Why should I do that? can that process be improved? See, I'm not denying the fact that there's always a human in the loop is required, but let AI do most of the work. Let AI be cross-checked as a QCer by a medical doctor or a case processor, whoever is a QC person, right? Before the final submissions. Why is that stage has not yet come, showing so many examples, and so many companies knows this, they are investing so much money, but why are they hesitant to do that? Is it the data privacy, or it's the data migration work that needs to be done, or what stops them from doing? Because I've seen a lot of vendors who have presented their tools, gone till RFP, but all of a sudden the vendor says no, we'll continue with their legacy systems. Why is that?
Yeah, so again, we can separate from the technology perspective, it's possible to build the system from the investment perspective, or it should from the decision and how to monitor and the safety of your product. It's every MIH and together with authority also that to be the system should be acceptable. Again, it's up to MIH to design way how much technology should be used, and how much human oversight is needed, what kind of cases. It's dependent on the type of the product, it depends on the requirement. So far we haven't seen it, and let's see how the future will develop. But still, I'm human on the loop that I repeated several times. So
That's to
I don't see that it's the role is changing. We're thinking more strategic what we are doing, how we are doing. Yeah, and again, I cannot decide for every MIH. It's marketing authorization holder solution and decision, the level of the oversight and the level of the requirement. If requirement will change in the future, let's see.
Let's take 5 years from now. We are coming to the fag end of this conversation. So what's one thing in PV that AI will completely transform, you think, in 5 years? I have something in mind that will completely get transformed. Let's see what you have in your mind. Then I'll tell what I have in my mind. Let's see we match or not. Yeah.
Artificial intelligence is changing our everyday work. It's everywhere. Like I say, I can't imagine myself working without getting help from the AI in every area of my work. It's not only the pharmacovigilance, but all around it. If you can use as a coach, you can ask the advice, you can ask the guidance. In my role, I'm working with the pharmacovigilance PV intelligence and looking for this worldwide guidance coming in all different languages. So for me, it's about possibility. Suddenly, I can read the guidance. It doesn't matter if they're in Chinese language or in Korean language, or being in Europe with 27 different countries, different national language. So suddenly I'm available in a few seconds, know what is the guidance about and how we can implement them. So it is already transforming for PV intelligence, definitely. Also to have look the requirement, you get the document, let's say for this recently 299 pages of for the centralized product submission, and the part about PSU or some other safety related topics. And I don't need to sit and read the 300 pages. I can ask directly, oh, what's about post-authorization safety study? Okay, what's new? What's there? So it is transforming our everyday life and transforming our roles as a professionals as well, to be more strategic, more interesting, more inspiring. And also, if you look like statistic, I've seen many statistics screaming that the job will disappear, but in the same article you can see that 30% more job created. So 100% disappear, but 130 is created. So it's changing the role of our job and how we are doing it, but definitely we will not be out of the job.
Fantastic. I see case processing to be completely transformed. So I feel it will be not reactive. It will become more proactive in the coming years, where real time submissions can happen right from the source. But the reason why real time submission should happen is, one good example is, supposedly you get an adverse event. You might have reported it 10 days later. That will be your initial receipt date, right? Nobody takes when did you get it. No, that might not, that might be missed. That's not real time, it's still reactive, and it, you give 15 days time, 90 days time for a non-serious case. I feel that will be changed completely, from both regulations as well, from the tool standpoint, or from the intake source, how you retrieve the information. That's where I see PV in the next 5 years, where it will be real time analytics that will come into play. And yeah, let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree what you're saying, that transforming how we can do, how we can do.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
but it doesn't mean that we're going to do. Again, looking for different size of marketing authorization holder,
Correct.
small marketing authorization holder. If you have one case per year, those
No,
MIH, they're not even buying PV database. They're why they should pay for the database. You can perfectly manage with your Excel file and record your one adverse event that you get
correct.
this year. So the solution would be there, but the need is different. Different MIH has different needs. But I do agree, solution is there. We're also moving toward more like predictive safety,
Yeah,
and easy to find the signal with the tools available now. You can see the signal much faster, and there are many publications analyzing and see that it's easier to predict the signals nowadays.
yeah. So maybe some closing questions, little bit of fun questions. Enough of PV and AI. So tell me about a book or some mentor or a podcast, whatever that changed your journey in AI. It made you realize that without AI, there is no future. I want to learn AI. See, there's a commitment towards learning a new technology. That's where I
Yeah.
always say the health. Let's take healthcare as a field. Doctors are very intelligent. The doctorates are very intelligent. The cream of the society doesn't want to learn new things if it's going to not change things in their life immediately, right? When I speak to
Mhm.
many doctors in India, they say, "Yeah, AI is good, but why should we apply AI in healthcare analytics? There is no need. We are already applying our analytics, but
Mhm.
it needs to have a push." So what was the push for you? Is it a book or a podcast or a mentor? What was that?
Yes, regarding the book, I just can recommend my book that
Ah,
I
okay. Yeah, you can show to the viewers, please brief about your book so that people can
yes,
know what is it. Yeah.
yeah, artificial
So it's
intelligence in pharmacovigilance. So it's released in December 2024 this year. How I came to AI
so
and what.
where is it available? Can you just tell that also to the viewers? Yeah.
Yes, it's available in Amazon, and I can provide the link. It should be available in multiple area and countries through
Sure.
Amazon.
Yeah.
And yes, how I came to this area, I think I was involved quite early in, like I mentioned, May 2023 with James Skinner, who was one of those who been very early developing the OpenAI and got the trainings. And I think it was just blowing my mind, all the possibility how you can use it. And I love creativity and what I can do. For example, from my person, I always were like writing a poetry, and now I can do songs for my poetry, or I can do all this nice picture if you need for the presentation, and you cannot just copy from internet with the copyright. I need my own pictures, and it's also give a lot of
Yeah.
creativity to create your pictures and do so many amazing things. Yeah, yeah,
So last question. Given your experience in PV almost for 2 decades now, the way you're adapting and learning AI and educating the people around you, We are all privileged to follow you and learn more from you. Do you have any entrepreneurial interest with respect to new technology in PV, some gaps that can be addressed? What's the road ahead for you? What's your dream in PV at this moment?
My dream was that people more open, that really can use it, what's available, that the leaders see the value of it. Because again, if you're looking for different reports and they're saying that 3% of the leader who is investing in the new knowledge and new technology and getting to know it, that we cannot develop without our leaders show us the way. So knowledge, learning something about it, how we can use it. So my vision would be more education, learning, and enjoying the creativity that it's bring and the freedom that it's bring.
Exactly. It was the same answer I thought you will give me. You gave me that answer. People have
Okay.
to adapt. The leadership has to adapt on what can be done and what cannot be done, right? Yeah. So thanks, Julia. So wonderful. 42 minutes we have spent together. We have discussed a lot. I wanted to keep it very casual. I wanted to keep it very simple so that the viewers get an interest to look into what AI can do in PV, rather than talking too much about technology or we change this, we change that. No, we want to just put some seeds into the minds of young people in PV who can adapt and learn, who can become future leaders who are technology driven. That's my idea, because it's not that you and me are growing fast in technology. I want the others also to grow in my network very fast. So thanks for your time. It was a wonderful conversation. So any words about the podcast, you can share it. Yeah.
No, just would like to thank you very much for inviting me here. It was a pleasure to get to know you and have a discussion on this topic that I'm very passionate about. And yeah, and I just maybe a final thoughts to all listener to saying yes to learn to more technology and the things outside your job description. Just to say yes, stay curious and open-minded.
Exactly. So thanks for it. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me just stop it.